could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes.
Red Star Raceway, the final round of the Inland Championship, and some ecstatic people on the sidelines waiting for the final bit of action here at Red Star.
You know you could. Yeah. And times are changing everywhere. Do we dream and do we dare? It's up to you. The door is open wide. Feel the rhythm of today. Learn the part and join the play. The world is here. Let's take it for a ride. Hey, you could be larger than life, bigger than the world.
So final round of 2017, and what a year it's been. In this episode we're going to obviously show you everything from Red Star, but before we do that we're going to take a look back at some of the highs and lows, all the bits behind the scenes that you don't know about, some of the things we don't want you to know about, and a little bit of everything else in between. Let's take a look.
I feel so alive, yeah, I'm happy head to toe, I'm in overdrive, it's alright, clear those clouds away, I can feel the sun, yeah, let the music play, now we've just begun. These are the best days. These are the best days. These are the best days of our lives, of our lives. There's magic in the air, and it feels so right. Yeah, yeah. So follow if you dare, and you'll see the light shine so bright. 'Cause these are the best days. These are the best days. These are the best days of our lives, of our lives. Yeah. Oh, can you feel the spotlight shining on down? Yeah, it's alright. Live in the moment and find your place in this world. Every boy, every girl, yeah. Follow your dreams, let them lead, let them guide. All you do, let them see you through, and they'll see you through.
The friendliest group in the paddock, the Bardel, Mystoric. And now the friendliest group in the paddock, the Bardel, Mystoric. Charlene, jy is besig om my... Dis jy. Okay, let's do it again. But before we show you everything from Red Star...
Behind the scenes.
Snyman, shut up.
You didn't do that, you said.
No, you see, you put me off. You didn't get me ready. You didn't get me in the zone, brother. Thank you.
I stab you with my pen.
So in keeping to looking at what goes on behind the scenes, one of the things that people don't understand is what it takes to get a car to do 8-lap races, for example, at Red Star. So to find out a little bit more, we've brought Wayne Robertson from Big Boss Auto into the studio to find out what his day is like at the racetrack when he doesn't touch a steering wheel. Wayne, give me an idea. What goes into preparing cars for all the various teams and championships that you're involved in?
Well, Mark, the first thing that goes to hand is when we finished the race meeting prior to getting to the shop, the drivers have to give us some sort of inlay on what the cars are doing, how they're working, what was problematic over the weekend. When the cars come back on a Monday morning from the race meeting, it's something that we get the drivers to return the vehicles back to the shop on a Monday. We have a list of items that need to be referred to, addressed, and a small little list. We go through the items that need to be addressed. From there, we decide which track we're going to, and then the necessary adjustments are made to whether it's a left-hand or a right-hand circuit. We start off by bleeding brakes, going through the wheel alignment, checking the ride out of the vehicle, and from there, prepping a vehicle so that when it gets back to the circuit, everything is right. From the front of the car to the back, a proper bolt check. We strip out the necessary components that have been troublesome over the day and replace. There's no second-hand parts that get put into the vehicle. We use new parts. If we have to source them, we make sure that when we put the car together for a race meeting, we use new parts for one reason. We're there to win a championship. We don't want to work with second-hand parts that can fail, let you down on the day. We need to make sure that we're there to win. And in order to do that, we need to give the driver the best opportunity to make sure that from his side, he can deliver the best to the team, and the team in return needs to make sure that we give the driver the best. So it's a very hand-in-hand situation. You have some drivers that seem to come at the last minute in certain teams and then realize I'm going racing on Thursday night, there's big pandemonium, I've got Friday to prepare a car, which is actually for practice. So unfortunately here, or fortunately here at Big Boss Auto, we work the opposite way around. The Monday straight after the race meeting, the cars come in, they're onto the wash bay, where cars are cleaned, vacuumed, made sure that from a presentation point of view, they're right, professional, and we offer the best that we can to the customers that have signed up for the year with us.
So if you can equate, let's say, 2 races of 40 minutes on a Saturday as the time the driver spends involved with the car. Per car, how much time, preparation-wise?
Realistically, a car, from a preparation point of view, we allocate a day to each car. When a car comes in, it's from we start on one car at a time. There's no rush. We make sure it's a personal, hands-on-hand, myself or my son Devon, that gets involved in the car. There's the assistants actually clean the cars, but from a work-on point of view, it's somebody that actually is a skilled artisan to make sure that that car runs at its best on the next race meeting.
Well, I've been on the receiving end of that, so I understand just how fortunate that we are to have that, and how lucky the guys are that their job is, yes, important, but there's a lot more that goes into it before that. And on race day, what's the most challenging part of it?
Well, race day, I think the Friday is important. Get there, make sure your pits are sorted out, make sure that the team presentation is right, the driver's mindset is right. From there, everything clicks into place. If a driver arrives late or he gets there with his car at a last minute, you always find yourself trying to catch your head from your tail. There's never a situation of starting late with us as a team. We are there Thursday night normally for preparation, so that when Friday morning starts, you're there from early in the morning. We have a team order within ourselves that 7 o'clock is when the team arrives. There's no excuses. Don't make any little stories of I had to work or whatever. Work starts at the track at 7 o'clock in the morning. From packing the truck out, getting the car sorted out, brakes, wheels, that's a driver's responsibility to tighten his wheels and do his tire pressures. So there is no situation on a circuit that you can come back and say, I thought somebody tightened my wheel. It's something that Big Boss has run for many a year, that is the driver's responsibility. From there, anything that goes wrong on the day, as things progress, you are able to catch it on a very simple note. If you start halfway through the day, you always find yourself catching the last minute stories. And we're not there for that. We're there for the best for the drivers from the word go.
Okay, and aside from the obvious, what for you personally, what's the most rewarding part of any race day?
Winning the race, obviously. We're there to win championships. We go there with an idealistic way of wanting to be the best. We don't go there to finish second. What does Devon always say? A second is always the second bride. We're there to win for an out-and-out championship. This year we can say that our drivers all delivered. We were given certain challenges where drivers have broken out by a small margin, and we've had to up the game to Class B. And we managed it, and we finished second in Class B. So I think the drivers also understand when the team puts the rest in, the drivers make sure they've got their side. We have a truck where they can sleep if they want to sleep. Don't give me an excuse that you can't deliver on the day.
Fantastic. Wayne, thank you. That's been
100%.
very, very informative.
Thank you very much.
Join us after the break for some more action from the BMW Car Club Racing Series.
There's only 3 points between the top 3 in the Bridgestone BMW Club Racing Series. Who's going to take the number 1 plate? Let's have a look.
How tight do you like it? 3 points in it, and 2 more races out here at Red Star Raceway. They're going completely opposite to the last time they were here. So looking at a very, very tight field of racing at the front end, and also looking at a couple of new guys who've come to join us right at this final round. The Bridgestone BMW Car Club Racing Series has really been one of the best of the season and one of the best we've ever seen out of this category. At the front end, expect action plenty between the Familiaris boys and Rian Wust. And heading down towards turn number 1, you can see dropping the hammer and trying to get away right from the word go will be Julian Familiaris. But in the mid-pack, expect big action. It's kind of what we've seen all season long, and it's exactly what we expect here as Rian Wust starts to apply the pressure. Oh, that's a good move. Sneaking up on the inside, and great onboard shot here from JB Britt. He's just getting a little bit wild through turn 2 and 3 there, but eventually side-by-side action there. And can we see Willie Erasmus hang on? No, unfortunately Erasmus losing out. But further back here, Jimmy T giving a little bit of roof surgeon material there, getting a bit sideways. But I can tell you something, that's not over yet. It looks like Morgan Long might be in with a bit of a battle there with Jimmy T as they go down into turn 5. Bottom of the short straight. Marks is starting to apply pressure as well. Philip Smith and Anthony Marks had a big battle the last time. It's the gold and silver, and this time out it looks like it's going to be a similar type battle. Smith at the moment hanging on, Marks behind him, pushing hard to try and close that gap down, but can he be able to find something through the dog bone section here? It's a very difficult little section, particularly on 4 wheels. A little bit easier to go through there if you're on a BMW S1000 RR or maybe on a Suzuki, but right now definitely not what you want to be playing with at the moment. And you can see just how hard he's having to push. Shane Krobler just ahead of him, and Krobler is just keeping him very, very honest. Very evenly matched cars now, you'll see, down the N12 highway, and heading down into that hard braking point at the bottom. That's the Bridgestone chicane, and these Bridgestone tyres are going to be crying out hard as they get pushed to the limit and probably a little bit over. Oh, Mark's losing out slightly there as Dino Familiaris starts to make his way to the front end of the field. It's going to be a bit of a tough battle for him. I'm not quite sure if he's going to be able to get right up to Jules, but he certainly is going to give everybody a good run. And look at that! The additional bit of power there from Familiaris' car allows him to squeeze out Philip Smith into turn 1. Pretty easily done there as they head towards turn 2. You can see things now starting to sort themselves out in the mid-pack. But that Speed and Sound and Big Boss Auto BMW of Willie Erasmus looking for a top 3. Krobler and JB Britt giving him a bit of a run, and Britt not too far behind him. You can see just having a little look every now and again in the ELB construction BMW. Hasn't quite got the same kind of pace and maybe being hindered slightly by that big wing down the back straight. There's Jimmy T. He has just got ahead of Everstein. And you can see also Cochran in the background just starting to make his way to the front end. Look out as well as they start to make their way through the field. There's a nice move there from Fasaki. And Fasaki in the Viking mining car, slowly but surely also getting to the front. A small issue, I think, earlier on in the race, but he's certainly coming straight back and now looking to go on the attack. The SA Safe Man is under attack. And that second Big Boss Auto BMW is being hounded there by that Viking Mining's BMW of Fasaki. On board with Jimmy T now as he goes onto the back straight and loops it out. Very easy to do that. That little short straight can catch a lot of drivers out, and unfortunately what happens there is a triple apex corner. So if you just get on the power a bit too early, and I think that's exactly what Jimmy T did, it's just looped that car out and dropped him right down to the back. He's got a lot of work to do now, as has this man. Look at Krobler. Krobler's got a problem. Krobler's got a bit of an issue there and opens up the door a little bit too much for my liking. And you don't do that when you've got Anthony Marks on your tail. Nice to see, look at that broom going like a Boeing there in the 000 BMW and going through, as his name says, sweeping through the sweeps. That Bridgestone BMW Car Club car has really been good. Last time I remember it was Mel Spur in the car. This time it's Michael Broom. And now under braking into the final turn, and our leader just not even being assisted or hindered by anybody whatsoever. Familiaris has done it all right. And with the checkered flag waiting, he's going to take the victory. A great drive, though, from Dino. Dino's come through the field and going to finish up in second place. Rian Wust, unfortunately, just losing out there. He'll come through to take Class B's win ahead of Willie Erasmus and JB Breert, but he'll be third place overall. Philip Smith taking the C's ahead of Anthony Marks and Bagioni, and Everstein takes the win in D's over Cochrane and Neil Reynolds.
It's been an awesome season. It's been toe to toe with everybody, and yeah, we couldn't have asked for a better final. I mean, it's 1 point between me and Jan, and Philip's 2 points behind us, so closer than that we couldn't have asked for.
Let's catch up with the chairman and see how that BMW went.
Well, I'm still alive, so that's a good start. The car still looks like a BM, but it was lekker. It was a little bit lonely. The guys in front of me were just too quick, and yeah, it was fantastic. I'm very happy. Our goal was not to get left twice, and I did that, so good day.
Moving into race number 2 with a few adjustments to be made on a couple of the cars out there. And once those adjustments are done, they'll make their way back out onto the Red Star Raceway for their final race of 2017. The points are still very, very close, but it's just a case of Julian Familiaris finishing this one up, and that number 1 plate will remain his. He starts at the front end and gets off the line nicely, but he's going to be hounded. As they head down into turn 1, JB Breert's already starting to apply the pressure onto the back end of Willie Erasmus. He in turn has got a big amount of pressure coming from the back, and Wust looking to get through early on. Good move there from Willie. He squeezes through and gets ahead of Grobler in the Mayfair gearbox car, and that car moves into third place now and is under attack from the Viking mining car of Wust. Wust gets ahead. He just squeezes out that ELB BMW. We're on board here with Jimmy T looking at that ELB BMW, and I can tell you JB Breert is not going to make this easy. He's going to go straight back under attack as they come through turn 4, heading towards 5 now. Triple left-hander. Remember, it's a triple apex corner they head into now. This is where T got it wrong the last time. This time Jimmy just trying to keep it all together. Remember, the tires will be slightly cooler right now. You can see cooler conditions as well. A bit of cloud cover has just cooled things down here ever so slightly at Red Star Raceway. The 57 car is under attack, and Neil Reynolds and Cochrane going at it. Nice to see those two fighting so hard. And oh, Cochrane onto the dirty stuff. That's going to loop that car out. Easily done. Fortunately, he's able to catch it, get back on track, but a little bit of work to do now for Troy from the back of the field. And 20 marks on the inside. The 25 car has been caught and passed, and Bagioni is going to have to fight it once again there with the silver and the gold cars for potentially 1, 2, and 3 in his class. Further back in the field, that is Jimmy Temeglu under pressure, under braking, and a great bit of late braking coming out of the 208. And a super bit of driving there from Andreas May. Andreas May actually starting to make his way through the field rapidly. He'd like to be up the front end, and he's not too far away. Philip Smith means he's just outside the top 5. And that's a good bit of driving and a great recovery here, considering we didn't really see him in race number 1. Going left and right, looking for ways through. It's not easy to find an overtaking maneuver here. You've got to be very good on the brakes. And you can see Broomy trying to do that. Taking a slightly wider line, a bit of white smoke out of the car just ahead of him. That's not quite what you want there from Sean Lundbrecht's car, but it will definitely be an opportunity there for Broom to squeeze through. Let's see if Michael Broom can up his pace ever so slightly. We saw super effort 224s from him in the first heat. This time he's into the 23s, so he's gone even quicker. And he's fighting hard, you can see there, with the 90 car of Dodd. Shane Dodd, oh, super stuff. Dodd on the outside, Broom on the inside. Oh, this could be a bit of a doddle. Going through the left-hand sweep. Oh, it could be 3x3 heading onto the back straight. Broom's on the inside. Dodd shuts the door. Good driving there from Shane Dodd, but can he keep Michael Broom at bay as they get onto that big straightaway now? The N12 highway, this is where the cars get to open up. It's great to have an almost 1 kilometer straight for these guys. This is Michael Broom's point of view. He looks in the rearview mirror. Looks pretty comfortable, actually. It's nice to see a smooth gear change as he goes flying past Dodd. Oh man, he had a look like, what are you even trying here, Shane Dodd? Let me show you how to do it. Is he good enough on the brakes though? Yes, he is. Into the Bridgestone chicane. Dodd's got a problem though. That white smoke is certainly affecting the car, and it's slowing it down ever so slightly and allowing that battle to continue. As he comes onto the main straightaway, might lose out one more position as they go left and right. Can they find a way through? It's going to be very close between these two. Dodd goes on the defensive, but around the outside. Oh, good driving there. Morgan Long eventually going to have to go around the long way around, but he eventually gets there. You can see there's definitely an issue there on Dodd's car, and he might not even get to the end of the race. Let's see how he goes. On the brakes. Super stuff there from the big maneuver and big mover at this stage. That is Andreas Meyer. Wust hanging on for a potential win here. Not quite sure what's happened with Jules. I think Jules has just eased off. He's not going to go and fight at the front end and spoil his chances of this championship. Rian Wust looks like he's going to be taking the checkered flag. It'll be an overall victory for a Class B. It's one of the first we've seen and probably one of the only ones we've seen all season long there. Wust taking the victory, Andreas Meyer in second, and Brett coming through there for third. So top three were all Class B contenders. Julian Familiaris taking it easy, finishing in fourth place, but taking the championship and Class A victory. Smit in C's, and Jan Everstein takes the D's, as well as the overall championship for the Bridgestone BMW Car Club Racing Series.
It's been a long season, and it's been a lot of fun with the guys racing. So yeah, it was really challenging out there. It was hot and slippery, and look, I think Troy maybe had a mistake in the first corner or so, or in the first lap. I didn't see him after that, and but it was really great fun. So I really want to thank my sponsors, Mammut, African Surprise, and Big Boss for building me an awesome car that stayed reliable all through the year. Yeah, and it was just all fun racing with the whole team.
Up next, Rian Draper leading the Big Boss Auto Super Saloons. Will that still be the result at the end? Let's find out.
It's been an incredible season here with the Big Boss Auto Super Saloons, mixing up some rotaries, some space frames, and of course the big V8s. Now, news in the pit lane is that there'll be no V8s next year, and it'll be just all of the space frames and rotaries that are going to be fighting out in the Super Saloons. Big Boss Auto has had an incredible season with these guys, and this is the final time they're going to go to action. The front end, JB Brett, we've already seen him in action. He takes the whole shot and leads down into turn one, this time in a slightly different machine. That 300Z of his is very quick, and particularly around here at Red Star Raceway, should be able to get away. But Rian Draper is going to try and keep him honest. Not going to be an easy day in the saddle there for Draper. He's got to just try and finish up as high up as possible. As you heard there from Michael Broom, he's the man to catch. And can he hang on to this championship lead and wrap things up here as we go into the final two heats of 2017? Good start coming out of the 9-8 as well. Davy Fourie is right there. We're on board here with Marius Jacobs, as Jacobs goes diving down the inside up into second place. Good move there from Marius. Early move as well. You can see a little bit of running wide. I think maybe just getting caught out by probably a bit of additional power from the 300ZX. But needless to say, still maintains the lead as they go down into the dog bone. Draper fighting hard. Jacobs is all over the back of him and looking for a way through, but can't find it just yet. See if we can keep it all together now. The pressure being applied by the space frames onto the back end of that big 300ZX. And it looks like the ELB man is going to have his work cut out for him. Draper going on the inside. Oh, he had great bit of traction. And you can see the slightly lighter vehicle and more nimble Peugeot 206 certainly getting through the dog bone section a bit easier than that big Nissan in front of it. The Tata of Davy Fourie is just behind. We go on board here with Marius Jacobs. He sits in third place at the moment. There's a move. Wow! It looks like there's a bit of a problem there on the 300ZX. Yes, I think so. Jacobs going down that back straightaway, using the slipstream, and gets past. How was that bit of maneuvering? We kind of saw the lead change 3 times and nearly second place twice as well. As soon as that ELP Nissan got into second place, it tucked in right behind Jacobs and used the slipstream effect for the second time down that back straightaway to try and keep out the charge from Rian Draper. Draper now in third place. The Nissan 300ZX hanging on and now applying pressure of his own to Marius Jacobs. Jacobs just soaking that pressure up. Just behind them you can see Davy Fourie waiting for something to go wrong between any of these 3 cars up front. It's actually one of the best dices we've seen all season long. They've kept some of the best racing here for the final round. Very difficult to go through here. You can see the track is wide, but remember, it's been made purposely for motorcycles usually. Now with cars driving in here, every now and again you find that little wide line tends to tighten up, especially when you've got 3 cars fighting like this. And Red Star Raceway is certainly one of the best circuits in the country in terms of facilities, and putting on a great show here for the final round of the Inland Championship. Good maneuvering here from Draper. He's now in the slip. Can he use the slipstream as he goes down that back straightaway? No, he can't. Once again, running wide is the Nissan, and so does Jacobs. Jacobs runs wide, and looks like he might have missed a gear there slightly as well. As he comes into the dog bone section, Draper's moved up to second. Jacobs down to third. Jacobs got a problem. You can see he's not able to get the same amount of drive through that dog bone section as what Draper was, and Fourie's on his tail. So Fourie now looking to pounce and get through. There might be a bit of a gearbox issue there. Maybe he's stuck in one of the high gears and he's only able to use those high gears. Jakob's running wide. Oh, he gets it out of shape this time, all on his own. Trying to find that gear. I think he probably went down into first, climbed on the loud pedal and looped the car out, and that's him through to the back and having to fight ahead of Richard Cooley, Joanne Cochran, Brendan Martins and Gary Compton. Those are the other cars, of course, that are out there on track, and you can see Joanne giving Cooley a bit of a run for his money. Richard Cooley there just keeping Joanne Cochran out for now. Cochran on her way to win the most improved driver of the season as well here in this category. Big Boss Auto Saloon, Super Saloons, and there's a change up for the lead. Yes, indeed. Wow. Good driving there from Draper. Capitalizes on another mistake coming out of JB Brett. Brett just finding it very difficult to maneuver the bigger car around this tight and twisty circuit. There are some open ground where you can let rip, and that's exactly what the Nissan is expecting to do, but he doesn't seem to have the drive. There's Farid through as well. So it looks like JB's going to have to try and hang on and survive. No worries at all here for Draper. Draper taking this victory will also take the championship as he comes up onto the back end of one of the slower Golfs. Looks like that might be the Grange Workwear car. Jan McGregor just ahead of him as he goes across the line. Great driving there, taking the victory in Class GT5 and the overall championship. Davy Farid in second and Cochran in third. JB Brett taking the GT class. Jakobs takes GT2 and Richard Cooley hangs on for the win in GT3. So congratulations goes out to Rian Draper, who did an incredible job all season long, fighting not only with the space frames but with the V8s and taking the overall Big Boss Auto Super Saloon Championship.
As we got onto the grid, I saw pole position is not there, so I just got behind JT, and as soon as the light dropped, I just closed my eyes and I went for it. I know that I've got 1 point in the championship to win it, so after that, my mind just left me and we went hard for it. Me and Marius, Davy and Uncle JD had an awesome dice, but yeah, I set my foot to it and just head straight for it and I went for it.
And you got it. And now you got to do it one more time with the championship in the bag. Makes it a little bit easier and a lot less pressure. But there's still some racing to be done. And our final heat of the Big Boss Auto Super Saloons. Look at where Marius Jakobs is going. I'm not quite sure where he's trying to get traction from, but you won't get traction on the grass, buddy. Down into turn one. Draper's on the inside. JB Brett around the outside. Here comes Farid. Farid side by side there with Cooley. And Brendan Martins fighting there with Joan Cochran at the back end of the field. Davy Farid up into third place, trying to keep Jakobs out. Keep an eye on the right-hand side. I thought we might see that black car sneaking through. Jakobs just out braking Farid, but Farid comes back at him. Oh, a little tag. They're both out of shape, but fortunately kept it on the black stuff. And now through turn 3, heading towards 4. This is so close. The racing has been incredible in the Big Boss Auto Super Saloons this year. And once again, we're seeing some of the best stuff here in the final round. Oh, look in the background there. 2 RX-8 side by side as they come through. And heading into turn 5, the triple apex corner. Brendan Martins just squeezing Cooley out onto the short straight now. Here they come. Trying to get on the power, and now you can see just a bit of chopping and changing happening as Davy Farid starts to apply the pressure. That pressure applied in heat number 1 certainly paid off in the end. And it eventually moved Farid up into second place overall. He's looking to do the same thing again here, but he's got 3 cars to try and get through first, and 2 of them are fighting for the lead. Oh, Draper out of shape. Just goes across the grass. Fortunately, though, as I said, he's already wrapped the championship up, so it won't affect him too badly. Nice that JB gave him some room to play, but that's allowed Jakobs a chance. You don't give Marius Jakobs a sniff for the front, he will take it open arms. And he's got there. So Jakobs now leads out into turn 1. On his, no, I say that into turn 1. I was about to say on his tail is Draper, but Draper just powers around the outside and keeps that little Peugeot 206 lit. Makes him go straight into the lead and resume the battle for the front of this race. Jakobs out of shape again. He tends to get that corner ever so slightly wrong every single time, and then it affects his drive out of turn 3 heading towards 4, and that's what JB Brett is trying to capitalize on. Brett on the wrong side though, as Jakobs forces him onto the outside, but if he stays on that side, the next turn is a left-hander and he might be able to get through. Oh, that's good driving. JB Brett using his knowledge of the circuit and realizing that the next turn is the triple apex, left-hander onto the short straight, and now gets the power down. So does Davy Farid. Farid tries to come along there and find a way through, but Jakobs just keeps the power down. JB slowing. JB Brett, I'm not quite sure if he's having a bit of fun and games with these guys or if he's got a problem. No, I think he's got a problem now. He's certainly slowing up and pulling to the sideline as Davy Farid comes up onto the back end of him as well. So it looks like this might be the end of the season here for that magnificent 300ZX. The custom shop and ELB 300ZX pulling to the side and out of race 2. Battle of plenty here. Brendan Martins, Richard Cooley, and Joanne Cockram. Cockram up the inside, finds a way through. Richard Cooley with no answer there. Cockram now goes on the attack for the second of those RX-8s. The Mazdas are in trouble there. I'll tell you something, Joanne Cockram is certainly living up to why she was given the most improved driver of the season in this class. Side by side here for second place. Around the outside goes Davy Fourie. Fourie is doing such a good job in that Tata. He's found some serious late race pace here, and he's got through on Jacobs. So it looks like Draper's going to hang on. In the background, though, a little bit of wide manoeuvring there coming out of Davy Fourie as he puts the power down onto the back straight. The checkered flag is waiting. Draper is going to make it 2 wins out of 2 starts and definitely sews up the championship and puts a little cherry on top as well. Great driving from Draper, taking the win ahead of Davy Fourie. Joanne Cockram taking GT5 third place overall in the AJC Motorsport machine. Jacobs takes GT2, Martins and Cooley 1 and 2 in GT3s.
So let's see now which Honda wins out in the Yokohama MPCs and SRA.
It's been a battle royal between the Hondas and the Volkswagens all season long. And there's still a little bit of work to be done by the JDM tuning team. They're going to be pushed hard as they get to the start line and down towards turn number 1. Keegan Pottas, Jeff Langerfeld, Dirk Lawrence and Warren Fenton all fighting for the top 4 positions as they head down into turn 1 to try and find a way through. It's not going to be easy. You can see in the mid-pack the Golf's starting to get real. Oh, and real racing. Real people, real racing as always here. Getting completely out of shape and on to the dirty stuff. That's not where you want to be going, Mr. Paul van Niekerk. But you know what, eh? Paulie's got a very good car and potentially could make his way back up rapidly. We're on board here with Shane Kroon. Further back, this is his teammate. And fighting also in amongst the Hondas and the Golfs and a couple of Polos now thrown into the mix too. Look at that side-by-side action now as they head down there. And you can see just nothing in it. JDM tuning versus the EV Dynamics team. And hello, just being thrown in for good measure there. Have a look at that in the Sean Lereserve Pepper Racing Alpine Motors Polo. That's Mike McGregor. That I'm sure will be orange by the time it comes into next season and be in Grange workwear colours. But you can see behind him, Fenton is having to work hard. Ishmael Peck is all over the back of him looking for a way through, and just behind them comes Van Niekerk trying to make up the lost ground after running wide. You can see behind is Jordan McGregor doing a great job, and Jordan McGregor, the youngster in the Grange Workwear team and High-Tech Racing team, looking to take the overall championship in his category for Class B. So it's also nice to see a couple of SRAs and of course the Silver Cup cars being thrown in as well. A couple of little low-tie out there too, and those little Lotus has definitely got to turn a pace around here. Look at these Golf 1s fighting hard and nothing in it between these guys. No rules in particularly the EV Dynamics team. It's every man for himself when you're on track. But you've got to fight hard to get to the front end of Class B, which at this stage is being led out by Jordan McGregor. There you can see McGregor down that back straight away. Under a little bit of pressure there from the Polo. And that Polo probably got a little bit better aerodynamics. And that's the reason why he's able to outgun McGregor into the Bridgestone chicane. But Ibrahim Peck has now got to the front end of that little battle. It's not the front end of Class B at this stage. As you can see, McGregor fighting hard there and trying to keep out the rest of the field of Golf 1s just on his tail. They come across the line. Peck just hangs on. McGregor goes side by side and under braking. He loses one position there. But the 119 car, that is a super drive coming out of Wayne Labotsky. Now Labotsky is fighting for Class B, but he's not fighting for the overall championship. However, it will affect Jordan McGregor's points. So McGregor got to try and squeeze through there. But he's also got to try and keep Shane Kroon behind him, who is hounding him in that Class C EV Dynamics Golf 1. Peck runs wide, opens up the door. Thanks for coming. Pretty easy stuff there, as you can see. And you don't want to be doing that, particularly when you've got those Golf 1s so close. And, nearly returns the favour. Peck going around the outside of 4. Trying to get up on the inside of turn 5. It hasn't quite worked out. McGregor's dropped back slightly, though, you can see. As Wayne Labotsky now leads things up. Oh, Peck's got a problem. Peck with a bit of an issue there, pulls to the sideline and off the circuit. That opens up an opportunity for Shane Kroon now to run with Labotsky. Wayne Labotsky looking for the victory here. He's got shield on the side of that car and he's trying to keep the shield up from anybody else trying to get past him. The gear down car unfortunately parked on the sideline. That is confirmation of Peck pulling to the sideline. Front end though. Keegan Pottas has got away. Langerfeld is not really in the picture, but Dirk Lawrence and Fenton fighting incredibly hard here. It's really good to see these two guys not holding anything back. It's kind of, as I said, been a battle of the Hondas at the front end. There have been a couple of Golfs that have come in every now and again and given the Hondas a run for their money, but potentially this category is dominated by Honda. Further down in the field, the two Lotuses having a super run. David Coetzee and Philip Adicott. And the two of them just fighting for their own little battle in the SRAs. And right now, that is the battle for the lead in SRA. Right now, it is all about Coetzee ahead of Adicott. Adicott trying to come through. Oh, it's very close between the two of them. Great to see them chopping and changing. It's not over yet between these two. They're certainly going to go all the way to the checkered flag and see who's going to take that victory. We'll wait for it. Across the line, it is Pottas that takes the overall victory, though. And a great drive from him in the CRX. Langeveld will come through to take Class A, and Jordan McGregor takes Class Bs. Super effort from Shane Kroon beating Kenny Darroch out there in the Class Cs, and SRA is eventually going to Coetzee, as we saw in that battle between the two Lotus.
Yeah, well, a little bit rusty. I've been off a couple of the races due to family circumstances. But back in action, over eager, rusty, went a little bit farming, but good chasing back. I think chasing back, I need to just see, I don't know if the clutch is gone, but it looked like we were making headway coming back at it. Look forward to hopefully getting out for the second one, all being equal, and then giving the guys in Class A a bit of a run, you know.
Battling with the old man there, it was a lot of fun. Obviously he's winning the championship. It's my first race back this year, so I'm just having some fun, enjoying.
It was unbelievable. It's a turbo car against a normally aspirated car. It made me work exceptionally hard. Last race of the year, I'm leading championship, everything, so I was a bit worried that things would go wrong, but we leave it in God's hands and we do what we have to do.
Cool. It's going to be a tough one here. Langeveld has got to go and basically win this race. Dirk Lawrence doesn't really even need to finish. So it's going to be a tough one here. Let's see what's going to happen as they head down towards turn one. You can see already Pottas opening up the margin and trying to get away from this field, and probably going to look for a double victory on the day just to seal the deal. But in the background, we've got to keep an eye out on Jeff Langeveld, Warren Fenton and Dirk Lawrence. Lawrence and Fenton side by side. You can see Langeveld in slightly different livery here. That red car of his starting to pull away, and right on their tail it's Van Niekerk. Behind Van Niekerk, it's Franken and Matteo who's starting to make his way to the front end right from the word go. Nathan de Villiers up there too, and Heinrich de Villiers all fighting in their Golf 1s. This is Dirk Lawrence's point of view as he heads on the brakes and tries to keep Warren Fenton at bay. Fenton just gets ahead though. And now into third place, Dirk Lawrence trying to come back at him as they go through turn 5. Look at this. Very close between these cars, very evenly matched cars as well. But as I said, it's literally Dirk Lawrence that's got to, he doesn't even need to finish. He's got to just pray that Jeff Langeveld doesn't take the overall victory. Giles Darroch having some fun and games in the mid-pack as well and starting to get in the mix as always. This is certainly a man that you don't want to be playing around with too early on, because these EV Dynamics boys can give themselves a bit of a run for their money. And usually there's no team orders, and I think it's pretty much the same here for this final round as well. Darroch just squeezing and unfortunately losing out there to Kroon. Kroon looking for a chance early on to get ahead of his teammate, and he's done that. So the Class B car has been bettered by Shane Kroon's Class C car. Fenton hanging on ahead of Lawrence. Just behind them it's Van Niekerk. Ishmael Peck starting to come into the play, as well as Andre Duplessis, and not too far off the back end. Now as they head down the short straight into the hairpin, that is De Matteo. De Matteo under a bit of attack there. The 163 car, Nathan de Villiers, rocking those pink wheels. Pink wheels make your cars go faster. That's what I heard. You've got to either do a black bonnet or pink wheels, and it's certainly working well there for de Villiers. Fortunately losing out though a little bit to Darroch, and Giles Darroch just hanging on, trying to keep him out. Not going to be an easy battle here. These Golf 1s, as you can see all through the field, particularly in the Class B Golf 1s, they are so close. And that's the kind of racing you get when the cars are so evenly matched. Great to see Kroon squeezing through and getting up once again ahead of his teammate. Kenny Darroch didn't have an answer there. Shane Kroon has found something special in that Class C Golf for this round and the final race of the season. Under braking comes De Matteo. De Matteo now gets up ahead, finds a way past. Very easily done, in fact, there for De Matteo in the Ford Laser, and moves up nicely. So looks like that car is slowly but surely being developed and becoming a potential threat at the front end of the field. We've seen it all season long. It's kind of been there. It's had a couple of issues here and there. Certainly here in the final round, definitely no worries whatsoever for De Matteo, and looking for a possibility of a top 5 overall. Front end battle, Dirk Lawrence slowing. That is a big pity. Oh, the man who could be crowned champion after this race slowing up. Not what he wanted to do. He definitely wanted to finish the race. He didn't have to, but he definitely wanted to finish the race. And, well, unfortunately, is going to be the final round that he doesn't get to finish, but the championship was already in the bag after race number 1. Fenton, though, looking for a chance for a possible top 3 overall. And fighting hard with the Golfs, as he always does. Super action at the front end. And Wayne Lebotsky, oh, there's a big problem. The smoking gun. Not what Paul van Niekerk wanted to see at the last part of the season. As they come across the line, you can see big action here. SRA starting to get in the mix. Andre Duplessis now leading the Lotus Challenge to the front end of the field. And fighting hard there with Kroon. Kenny Darroch, and Kroon runs wide. Darroch now moving up 1 position. Here comes Duplessis. Can he find a way through there? Andre Duplessis applying pressure onto the Golf. And he'll be looking for a way through as quickly as possible if he can get there. Franco Mateo is just ahead. And right on their tail, you can see Nathan de Villiers. So you've got a real mix of cars out there. Ford Laser, 2 Golf 1s, and a Lotus 7. Look at Jordan McGregor fighting for his life here, having a great battle. And it's super to see this kind of action right in the closing stage. Remember, this man is looking to wrap up the title today. And Heinrich de Villiers is not really involved in that title, but he's definitely involved in the battle for the win in Class Bs. McGregor runs slightly wide. De Villiers comes at him. The checkered flag is out at the front, though, as we see that battle continuing down to the line. Jeff Langeveld across the line. He'll be coming through a super effort there as he takes Class A victory ahead of Peck and De Matteo. Pottas takes the Class Ts ahead of Fenton and van Niekerk. It's Jordan McGregor wrapping up the championship down in Class B with that overall victory, and Kenny Darroch in C.
These lighties just don't leave me alone, you know. I do all their cars, I set up all their cars and I dyno their cars, and I think I must detune them a little bit because they give me a hard time. But you know what, that's all in the fun and I enjoy it. And I mean, I give them a hard time as well. See what I mean?
We had a few problems before in Heat 1, and Franco and Neil, they're the guys who know how to sort cars. And they had done some adjustments and helped me with a bit of setup. And yeah, it certainly worked. That I could run with them was actually awesome. I'd just like to thank EV Dynamics, Franco, Neil, my son, everybody has helped us, John, everybody. It's really put a 1640 with side drafts when it can run with fuel injection cars. This is awesome.
And finally, will it be Richard Upton taking the Inex Legends Championship, or could we see an upset from Willie Erasmus? Let's have a look.
It's so close between those two, Michael. I think it's going to be a bit of a... Whoever can win here at Red Star Raceway will decide how this championship gets wrapped up. Richard Upton certainly looked good and could potentially be at the front end, but Willie Erasmus is itching to take a championship and bring it back to the big boss stable. They always side by side, and normally 3x3, maybe even 4x4 as they head down on turn 1. See, it's a good start there, but in the mid-pack, you're going to have to keep an eye out on the progress. Johan van der Vente here, leading things out, or in fact, sitting in second place at this stage in the Masters category, but a good start there nonetheless from van der Vente. Richard Upton is the man we want to keep an eye on, and he'll be coming through the field, so keep an eye on him as he starts to make his way to the front end. At this stage, it is going to be very, very close. Stompy Studler trying to hang on. Elton Bow looking for the Young Lions Championship. He really hasn't been troubled all season long, but he's got better and better behind the wheel of the speed and sound machine. And as he comes out of turn number 4 and 5, you can see he's now starting to look for opportunities. Oh, a tag. There's a big spin. It looks like there might be some big issues there. Looks like a massive, massive maneuver there had to be taken by Willie Erasmus. That slowed him down ever so slightly. But you can see the car getting completely out of shape there. I think it was Charles Roux who got out of shape. He might have got back on track though. We'll have to keep an eye on his progress. But Richard Upton now looking to go to the front end and find a way past. Can he get through on Marnus du Plessis? Yes, he can. He eventually takes the lead. Du Plessis in the second place. Third place now, you can see. In fact, third, fourth, and fifth place starting to eat up as big pressure from Young Lion. Alton Bow on the back end there of Stompy. Studler just soaking that pressure up. Willie Erasmus starting to make his way back into the hunt, but he's a little bit further back than what he'd like to be. That little off-track excursion is going to be costly, and it could just move things a bit closer to the front end of the championship and the championship trophy, of course, for Upton. Look at that. Where else in the world do you see 4 or 5 cars going side by side at almost every single corner? Only in Inex Legends. Just how hard these guys are working. Alton hangs on for the inside line. Morani's outside is Marnus du Plessis. They're all trying to find through a chance to get ahead of Stompy Studler. But it's not going to be an easy way, that's for sure. There you go. The Young Lion dives on the inside, and Bo eventually finds a way through there on Unruh. Andrew Stadler just having to give way. It's not over yet. These 4 cars are still fighting frantically for a potential second place here, because remember, just up the road from them, Upton has opened up a little bit of a margin. Oh man, Bo just gets out of shape. I think he might have been helped out a little bit there, but he definitely got completely wrong coming out of turn 2. Now it is a two-way battle. You can see how hard Marnus is pushing, and Marnus du Plessis would love to take the victory there, but that's not going to be an easy call, that's for sure. Masters fighting in amongst the usual contenders, and here comes the move from Billy Erasmus. Erasmus has recovered dramatically. I can't tell you what a good move that is from Erasmus, but he's still having to find a way through and cement that pass. That's not easy to do when Marnus du Plessis is the man you're fighting with. Eventually down on the braking markers, and the 31 car eventually also losing out there as Richard van Heerden loses out to the big boss car, Billy Erasmus. Erasmus has come through the field like a hot knife through butter. Certainly using his ex-teammates' abilities there in these cars. Devin Robertson would have shown the man the way to go to the front end. He's going to come through for second place, incredibly. Wow, just beating Stompy to the line. So close there. Upton takes the win. Billy Erasmus takes second place, and Andrew Stadler comes through for third. Charles Roux eventually being the first master across the line, and Alton Bow taking the Young Lions. Straight into race 2. Oh, and here we go again. This time it's Erasmus at the front end. Now that's a good start point for him. If he can try and get away from the rest of the field, there's a very good chance that Richard Upton won't be able to close him down. But as I say that, look at the battle in the mid-pack as Upton starts to make his way through. You can see he's just up ahead there. The first black car in sight is Upton, and he's already into 5th place. And he's challenging. And the challenge in the mid-pack as Ian Upton goes side by side here with our onboard man. This is how tight it gets. It is just exceptionally close racing almost every single time these guys get on track. And incredibly, Upton is already up into 2nd place. So whatever Billy Erasmus was hoping for in the background has not happened. And he's now having to fight on his own. Steve Nell trying to keep out the young lion there, Alton Bow. Alton Bow doing a similar job there to the 68 car of Gerard Roux. So you've got 3 cars fighting for 3rd, 2 for 5th as they come through and into the dog bone section once again. Masters battle up for grabs there. Giles Moore having a super run there in the Dodge. And not too bad an effort there from him, looking for his 1st or 2nd podium of the season. The 23 car flying in the background is Charles Roux, and Charles Roux also starting to make his way through the front end. The Ziegler machines, as I said, with Ian Upton in that car fighting with Giles Moore, very close. But how is Upton, Richard Upton I'm talking about, finding the pace to close in there on Billy Erasmus? Erasmus is a very quick man in these cars. Upton, we know, has the potential of winning this championship, so we know how quick he can be. But no one expected him to close down so quickly on the front car. But he's right there. This is the 3rd place battle as they cross the line. Roux side by side. All of a sudden you've got Marnus du Plessis thrown into the mix as well, and du Plessis going around the outside. Just tires squealing. Yamaha engines in full flight, and eventually a lead change. Is this going to be able to make stick? Yes, he can. He goes through on the inside. Billy Erasmus comes back at him though. Oh, Erasmus running Upton wide out of turn 5. Now they're going to come through, looking for a way to go down, and you can see it's still side-by-side action. This is phenomenal stuff. This is the kind of stuff that we see every single time the Inex Legends get onto a track. Further back in the field, Alton Bow eventually going on the inside. Oh, nasty, giving Steve Nell a bit of a run, and evasive action in the background. Yellow flags waving frantically. As you can see, a couple of guys having to take evasive action. I think that was Johan van der Venter who had to get off the circuit completely. It may also have been the 68 car there of Gerard Roux, but the 2 of them having to avoid the little tag between the 9 car of Steve Nell and, of course, the hard-charging Alton Bow. Marnus hanging on for now, and you can see just how hard he's having to work there as Richard van Heerden comes straight back at him. On board here with Gerard Roux. There's a little tag. Oh, the Ziegler car. Oh, that's 2 wheels and possibly on the side. Man, that's big stuff. That is huge. Steve Levine getting together there. And unfortunately, off the circuit completely. It's also Steve Nell involved. Nell, I think, might be able to continue. He is able to continue, but definitely no problems there. And some issues for Steve Levine as he comes off the track. Safety car, and once we resume, it's now everybody grouped back together and bunched back together again. And once again, Billy Erasmus now has to get past. He has to beat Upton today. He cannot afford for Upton to take 2 wins out of the 3 races here. Otherwise, it's all done and dusted. So something has got to go right here for Billy Erasmus, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to be happening. Right on his tail is Roux. Charles Roux trying to close that gap down, but just doesn't seem to have the same kind of pace as the two cars in front. All of a sudden, that first car has disappeared. Now, defensive driving from Willie Erasmus to try and hang on for the checkered flag. Can he keep the second place on the road as well as in this race? As they come out of that Bridgestone chicane, flick it over. The flag is waiting. Upton has taken the double. The double win on the day ahead of Willie Erasmus. Charles Roux comes through for third. And the win in the Masters ahead of Richard van Heerden and Giles Moore. Ian Upton beats out Elton Bowe and Chris Hoy. Final race of the season. And have they kept the best until last? Well, if you're going 5x5 into turn 1, it usually ends up in tears. This time, though, they all filter through. I don't know how, but they eventually get up into turn 2. Hard braking from Van der Vente on the inside, and he squeezes out and just keeps the lead coming out of turn number 2, heading towards 3. Great driving there from Johan van der Vente, but as you can see now, eventually things start to get real. And there's some shoving, and eventually getting sent wide is Nell. That's about the 5th time that Steve Nell has ended up on the dirty stuff. He's had a tough day in the saddle here today. Charles Roux with some pressure coming from Elton Bowe. Richard Upton looking to start his way to the front end. Hasn't quite got there just yet. You can see that green nose cone. Quite an easy way of spotting that car. Under a bit of pressure from Manus du Plessis. Where is Erasmus? Looks like Willie Erasmus not in that battle just yet, but just on the back of it. There he comes. The little pink Big Boss car starting to make its way onto the back end of du Plessis. Now, problems at the front end for Richard van Heerden. And you can see Elton Bowe looking for a chance. Can he find a way through here? Will he be able to take an overall win here on the day? That'll be awesome for the Young Lion. He's going to take the Young Lions Championship, there's no doubt about that one. But who's going to have the final blood of the season? Move on the inside from Charles Roux. And moves up to the front. And around the outside comes Richard Upton. Upton just getting into second place there. Or has he? Yes, he has. He's just got ahead. So Upton into second place now on the back end of Charles Roux. Van Heerden. Then you got Willie Erasmus. Willie Erasmus going into 4th place under braking ahead of his teammate Bowe. Bowe now going to go try run with the other youngster in this category. Willie Erasmus and Elton Bowe going to try and work together now to close the gap down on the 23 car there of Charles Roux. And that'll bring them into contention with Richard Upton. Probably you have a 4-way battle for the lead. Behind them, Manus du Plessis in the middle of 2 cars who are attacking him. One of them is Upton. One of them is Gerard Roux. Great to see this action, and this is kind of the last race of the season, as I said, but nothing has been held back yet for this last race. They are still going at it like it's the first race, and the championship points haven't even been handed out yet. That's how great this action is in Inex Legends. Now under braking. 27 is Ian Upton. He runs ever so slightly wide. Du Plessis comes back on his inside. Here comes Roux. Gerard Roux going to go through there as well. Yeah, good move. Great driving from those two. Lots of respect between these drivers. Oh, as I say that, commentator's curse. There's no respect there. Take that and put you on the sideline. Not where Gerard Roux wanted to end up. That is exactly where Richard Upton wanted to end up, though, with 3 wins on the day and the overall championship as well. Into the final chicane. Good recovery from Roux, but he then goes and throws it down the sideline and onto the dirty stuff. Trying too hard. Gerard Roux, great drive, though, buddy. Super recovery, and eventually the checkered flag for that battle. Manus du Plessis wins that one out, and he'll finish up just ahead of Ian Upton. So overall result there, it's Upton from Roux, Elton Bowe in the Young Lions, and a great drive from Erasmus in 4th.
I am absolutely over the moon at this stage. Like it's when I was driving around in that last lap, I was just playing like, geez, I hope nothing goes wrong with my car now. And I ended up coasting down the back straight, and when I came through, it was just like, oh my word, yes, we've done it. We've finally done it. I'm so chuffed, so chuffed.
And that's a wrap of the show and of the 2017 season, and what a year it has been. Just a couple of thank yous from our side to all the people that do a lot you don't know about, in particular the team from Stardust, all of the circuit promoters, the marshals, the medics, the officials, everybody who has had any part to play in the Inland Championship this year. Thank you. You've contributed hugely to the success of this year. Next year we start at Midvaal on the 17th of February. The Inland Championship and a couple of other regional tours will look a little bit different to what you're expecting, but those are all for good reasons to keep progressing in the sport. So thanks again, take care, have a wonderful festive season, and be safe with your families.